What's good, YouTube? Andre here with the DM Network, y'all. And today I want to discuss some things that I noticed while playing Xenoverse 2 yesterday during the live stream and a little bit after the live stream as well. So we're going to get into that today, so stay tuned for that.
I am Prince Vegeta. Kneel before your god.
All right, y'all. So I was playing Xenoverse 2 yesterday, of course, playing with the photo mode, which if you haven't had a chance to check out the photo mode, man, y'all seriously need to check out the photo mode. The photo mode is very, very awesome. Very fun. If you follow me on Twitter, I posted a couple of videos a couple of pictures that I took from that. So go check that out. At Dmgaming5 is the Twitter handle. Now, what I want to talk about, y'all, before I get into that, y'all know, subscribe to the channel, hit the sub button, completely free. Turn on notifications, y'all, because honestly, we the only channel out there talking about this game. That won't be the case for long. I know once they release information, you'll have some of the big time channels like Rom, and Syriax and all these guys who hadn't been talking about the game all this time start talking about the game. And you're gonna have a lot of people that gravitate to them, but we the true OGs, and we're gonna continue to do that, man. We're gonna continue to do it because we enjoy doing it. I upload a lot almost every day, try to do it every day. So turn on notifications because it's completely free and it doesn't cost you anything. But anyway, so I was playing Xenoverse 2, and y'all remember I was talking in earlier videos about how if it's open world, which I don't think that it's going to be an open world game. But if it's open world, how will we get to like Planet Namek? How will we get to the Kai's planet if it goes to the Buu Saga, to fight Majin Buu or Super Kid Buu? These are some of the things that I've pondered. And while playing Xenoverse yesterday, I realized some stuff, I was like, well, they have these teleporters. They have the little machines that'll take you to Capsule Corp, to Hercule's house, to Namek, and then I kind of was like, no, that's not realistic. That's more of a futuristic kind of thing to teleport somebody there. But you never know. That could be a little twist that they throw in there if you go to Boma's capsule, that they kind of take you to Namek or something like that. That whole thing is why I don't think the game is going to be open world, because otherwise the only way to get to Namek, you're going to have to fly to Namek, unless you get in the spaceship and the game kind of does a cutaway and shows you flying to Namek. But it's going to be interesting too, because if the game follows the anime, which it's supposed to, then and we're playing as Goku, we'll be on the spaceship training and doing things like that if they choose to put that part into the game, which I hope they do. I mean, if they got us on King Kai's planet training, it only makes sense to put us on the spaceship with the gravity training as well. So I was thinking, how are we going to get to Namek? If it's open world, will Namek be open world? This is why I don't think it's going to be open world in a sense. And there is a lot of dexterity between open world and sandbox and things like that. Some people will say, well, open world is I gave my definition of it in the last video. I kind of feel like sandbox free roam is where you're limited to where you can go in a sense, but open world, you can go anywhere within the map. The entire game takes place on that one map. It's not like you go to multiple maps. Like if you look at Destiny isn't an open world game. Destiny is a free roam. It's a sandbox game. It's a game with multiple sandboxes. Each destination that you go to has its own it has its own sandbox, so if you go to Mars, that's a sandbox can be as large or as small as people want them to be. Open world is where you have one area and that entire game takes place on that one map, and we know that this is the case because you have to go to Planet Namek, which a lot of the series does take place on Planet Namek. So we could, if it's open world, could we potentially see 2 open worlds? But the game being open world has not been confirmed. I know a lot of people are excited about that, but there's also a lot of difficulties in order to stay true to the anime in making this game an open world game. I think it's going to be, like I said, more along the lines of Xenoverse, not Xenoverse, but Budokai 3, where depending on the saga, you're on a particular map and you have certain things to do and things of that nature. Now, what was interesting in Xenoverse 2 yesterday was that did jump out to me, but also you can go to Kami's house. It's supposed to be some kind of, it's like a meetup point for people to be on the same network or whatever. But it's really cool. So when you go to the robot on the island, he takes you to Kami's house and you can actually walk around inside of Kami's house. And I was like, you know, this is interesting because this is probably how it's going to be in the game, because Goku could have walked inside of Kami's house. The door was there. It was open. He could have walked in. I'm sure there's going to be stuff and people that you need to talk to and things like that to do. And also I was walking around Kanton City. Is it Kanton City? Yeah, Toki was the first one. I was walking around Kanton City and it looked just like it did in the trailer. So as far as scope, I would say picture how big everything is in Xenoverse 2 and maybe multiply that, because Xenoverse 2's map is not that small. I mean, it's not big. Kanton City is pretty large. If you go to one end, it takes a minute or two to fly all the way to the other end of the map. So, you know, but I don't know, man. But that was something that was interesting to me that kind of jumped out to me, was that with the being inside Master Roshi's house, it kind of gave me an idea of what it could potentially look like inside the game. But it also gives a little more depth, like I said, on the game being quote unquote open world. I don't think it's going to be open world. I think they would have marketed it as open world, but yet at the same time, it is an RPG. A lot of RPGs are open world, and open world games tend to affect the surroundings of your areas in open world games. So I don't know, y'all. That's a tough question. Now, the big part of it is okay, if it is open world, how will they do playing dynamic? How, you know, we're just going to stick with the Frieza saga because that's all we know for sure that's in the game right now. How will they do with playing dynamic, you know, if it's open world? Also, if it's open world, how would they do with the, I had to yawn. Sorry, I was yawning. If it is open world, how will they do with the characters, you know? Of course, we look at games like Red Dead Redemption 2. That's an open world game. You are immersed in that environment, and everything you do affects that environment, and that environment affects you. Certain missions aren't available only at certain times and things like that. So it can be done. It's not to say that it can't. But like I said, the big thorn in the side is Namek. What do we do about playing Namek? You know? And then I know some people are going to go off on a tangent and say, oh, what if we can explore the solar system and things like that? Nah, I don't see them doing that. I don't see them doing that at all. But what do y'all think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. That was just on my mind, so I wanted to make that video about that real quick. Tomorrow, the video I want to talk about is the other modes that could potentially be in the game, i.e. mostly an adventure mode and stuff like that, because if the game only goes to the Frieza saga, depending on how long it is, we'll see how that goes. But I got an interesting video for y'all tomorrow, so tune in to that, y'all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you aren't new and just hadn't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, doesn't cost you anything at all, and it helps us continue doing what we enjoy doing and making daily content. Till next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Peace.